Testing, one, two, three. Hey there, testing English on the first one. Excellent. And now moving to English on the second console.
Check 1 2 1 2 3. Doing a test for good old City of Ottawa webcast. Check check check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Check 1 2 1 2 3. Check check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. No, it's green. Check 1 2 1 2 3. Check.
What are you not getting?
Check 1 2 1 2 3. Check. Check 1 2 1 2 3 check. Check 1 2 1 2 3 check check. 1 2 1 2.
Sorry, bud.
Check 1 2 1 2 3 check check check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Check 1 2 1 2 3 check check. So are you in this one or this one? Check check check. Check 1 2. Check. Check. Check 1 2. 1 2 3. Check. Check. I figured that would. I told you the story. Check 1 2. Check. Check. Check 1 2. 1 2 3. Check 1 2. 1 2 3. Check. Check. 1 2 1 2. check. 1 2 1 2 3. Check check check. 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2 3 check. Check 1 2 1 2 3 check.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If I could ask members of council to take their seat, as well as members of the public, we'll start the meeting in 1 minute. On va commencer la réunion.
We'll be starting the meeting in 1 minute.
Take their seats, s'il vous plaît. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, et bienvenue à la Conseil municipal de la ville d'Ottawa.
Welcome to the City of Ottawa Council meeting.
Meeting of the 26th of November 2014. For those of you who are able to, please rise for prayer and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem. And as we say the prayer, our thoughts go to Councillor McCrae, whose mother-in-law passed away yesterday. Almighty God, let us work together to serve all our people. Dieu, tu es puissant, aidez-nous à travailler ensemble afin de bien servir nos citoyens. It's a real pleasure at our last council meeting of this term to ask Councillor Harder to introduce some very special guests from Barrhaven who are here to sing our national anthem. Councillor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good morning, everyone. Today we have at our last council meeting for this term a choir. They haven't been singing together very long. They're from the Nepean School of Music, which is the oldest business in Barrhaven. Now, Barrhaven is not that old, but it's still 30-some years old. So we're happy to have them here today. It opened in 1976. They have well over 600 students taking weekly private music lessons and a staff of over 35 teachers. Before you today, we have Cameron Gallagher, Ali D. Avila, Cameron McIntyre, Mikkel Johansson, Nyana Batnaker, and J.C. Corvo. I asked them if they had tricky names just to make my job a little bit more difficult. I hope I said them correctly. The Nepean School of Music is a division of Hummingbird Music Limited, which has helped develop many notable artists, including Barrhaven's own Tammy Raybould, whose music has charted across Canada. The choir today is directed by Sivi Pradeepan. Most of the 7 singers in the choir are all going to Barrhaven schools, and they're between 11 and 16 years old, though you will note that one member is not here today because that person would be Claire Christ. This year, these students will be supporting the Ottawa Boys and Girls Club through fundraising for the Angel Tree Project at various events through Barrhaven. And Mr. Mayor, you're going to see them again this Saturday. They're going to be singing O Canada as we celebrate the opening of the new Minto Recreation Complex in Barrhaven, which we're all very excited about, no one more than me. I invite you all to come, everybody that's here today. So without further ado, please enjoy.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy son's command, qu'attendra
Well, that was great. Thank you very much, Councillor Harder, for choosing those talented young people to start off our council meeting. At this time, I'd like to invite Carol Burrows to the podium for this meeting's City Builder Award. Welcome, Carol. I had the chance to see Carol at, of course, a housing summit yesterday. Come on over here. And I'm going to ask Councillor Jan Harder. Peter Clark. Peter Clark. Peter, come on up. Peter is Carol's city councillor. Welcome. Bienvenue. Ottawa strives to be a safe, welcoming, and accessible city for all its residents, and we have made significant progress this term of council. As you know, we have already, the older adult plan is growing, as you may already know, the older adult population is growing rapidly. In 20 years, Ottawa will be home to twice as many citizens as we've had today.
In 20 years, Ottawa will be home to twice as many seniors as we have today.
Issues such as the Older Adult Plan, Roundtable on Housing for Older Adults, of which several members have joined us today, including Carol. Ensuring the safety and security of the aging population is a communal responsibility. However, thanks to the leadership of Carol Burrows, her personal advocacy has directly touched the lives of those in her community and across the city. Cependant, grâce à son leadership,
However, thanks to the leadership of Ms. Burrows, her personal advocacy has directly touched the lives of those in her community and across the city.
d'Ottawa. As a retiree who has dedicated herself to improving the lives of older adults, Carol has been involved with numerous organizations providing a depth of experience that ensures older adults have access to affordable housing in our community. Most recently, Carol touched the lives of some of the most vulnerable residents in our community by chairing Cornerstone's $2.5 million community capital fundraising campaign for the women's residents on Booth Street. And anyone who has gone to see Cornerstone will quickly realize what a welcome addition and a beautiful addition it is to the city. Récemment, Carol a eu un impact dans
Most recently, Carol touched the lives of some of the most vulnerable residents in our community by chairing Cornerstone's $2.5 million community capital fundraising campaign for the women's residents on Booth Street.
Carol is also currently the chair of the United Way's Affordable Supportive Housing for Seniors Strategic Implementation Task Force. Additionally, Ms. Burrows played a key role in advocating for the construction of Briere Continuing Care Facility, as well as chairing several other boards such as the Care for Health Community Services Board, the Lynn Aging at Home Task Force, and many others. For her tireless advocacy for older adults and personal commitment to ensuring access to affordable housing, it is great pleasure on behalf of her City Councillor Peter Clark that I present Carol Burrows with the Mayor's City Builder Award for our final meeting of this term of council. Congratulations and thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Come on over here. We'll get in the middle here. And Peter.
Thank you very much, Mayor Jim Watson. I feel humbled. There are a great many people in this city who are working for affordable housing, and a large number of those are working for affordable housing on behalf of seniors and affordable supportive housing with needed supports. But there's also, I'm just one of the ones working for it, but there's a growing number of people, of seniors in this city, who need or are going to need this type of housing. We want seniors to age in place in their own communities and neighborhoods and to have a place to call home. And so that's what this really is all about. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carol, and family and friends, and former Rockcliffe Councillor Jane Dobell is with us as well. Thank you. For our next presentation, I have the pleasure of introducing two of my colleagues who will provide an update on the City of Ottawa United Way campaign. Honorary co-chairs Rainer Blois and Doug Thompson are here today to provide an update as the campaign reaches the midway point. Councillors Blois and Thompson, if you could join me, please. And as they come to the podium, I'd like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank and applaud the work of these two city councillors for your many years of service and for your exemplary commitment to our community. I also want to acknowledge and thank the campaign co-chairs, Dan Chenier and Lisa Allaire, the planning team, the departmental representatives, and everyone who is working to make sure this year's campaign for United Way is a success. On behalf of City Council and thousands of Ottawa residents whose lives you touch each and every day, thank you. Permettez-moi de profiter de l'occasion.
Thank you so much on behalf of City Council and the thousands of Ottawa residents whose lives you touch every day. Thank you.
Thompson for the report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour à tous et à toutes.
Good morning, everybody.
Chairs of this year's United Way campaign, we're here to provide you with the mid-campaign update. At this year's kickoff event out on Marion Dewar Plaza, some of you might remember that windy day where things were blowing around and I think you were scared off by a few puppets. We unveiled a goal of $500,000. Currently at midway, we are at the 60% of our total, having raised $300,000 so far. To reach our ultimate goal of $500,000, we need to get into the game, which is this year's theme. À mi-campagne, nous sommes à 60%.
We are at 60% of our total fundraising goal, having raised $300,000. To reach our ultimate goal of $500,000, we need to get in the game.
United Way, in my role both as City Councillor and formerly with the federal government, I'm urging all new and outgoing councillors and returning councillors to fill out a pledge form today. The programs and services provided by United Way agencies make an impact in our community. They help kids, parents, the elderly with essential supports and programs. Your donation changes lives. Please pledge to keep these programs alive. Voulez-vous engager pour médecine?
These programs and services provided by United Way agencies make an impact in our community.
To become a friend of the campaign today by donating $20 a pay, or even better, become a leader by donating $40 a pay. You know, there's a representative waiting out there for you. They might have intercepted you already. They have the pledge forms. We've even made it easy for you. We've already printed your names on the forms, so all you have to do is stop by the table, sign on the dotted line. Even your name is there, Mr. Mayor. He's got lots of money, not from your budget. So get in the game, give where you live. Entrez dans le jeu, donnez à votre collectivité.
Get in the game and give where you live.
Good morning, bonjour à tous, and you know now why Councillor Blois came first, because he was able to speak French and I'm not. As your fellow co-chair noted, the United Way helps change lives. When these agendas help children succeed in school, help people with special needs find interesting employment, and help the homeless secure lodging, we all win. The United Way supports more than 180 much-needed services in our community, and without our support, their future is not guaranteed. For just $2 per pay, the price of a coffee, city employees can change lives for the better, and it couldn't be easier. Today, we are holding a pledge blitz across city facilities. We encourage employees to stop and take a few minutes to fill out a pledge form from their United Way representatives or online. If you already give, consider increasing your pledge for this year. Thank you for helping to make a difference in our community. Merci beaucoup.
Great. Thank you both, Councillor Blois and Councillor Thompson, for taking on this leadership role. It is now my pleasure to acknowledge the 8 outgoing councillors who are participating in their final council meeting of this term. These 8 individuals have served our community with dedication, commitment, and enthusiasm. Aujourd'hui, j'ai
Today, I have the pleasure of expressing my recognition for these 8 people.
Councillor Peter Clark from Rideau Rockcliffe, Councillor Diane Holmes from Somerset, Councillor Catherine Hobbs from Kitchissippi, Councillor Maria McCrae from River Ward, Councillor Peter Hume, Alta Vista Ward, Councillor Doug Thompson, Osgood Ward, and Councillor Steve DeRush, Gloucester South Nepean. Each of these councillors is to be commended for their years of community service and dedication to making our city a better place in which to live, work, and play. Ces conseillers municipaux méritent.
Each of these councillors is to be commended for their years of community service and dedication to making our city a better place in which to live, work, and play.
Each of them has been involved with a number of citywide and ward-specific projects that have made a difference in the lives of residents who call Ottawa their home. These councillors have put their time and energy into many different projects, both big and small. Confederation Line Light Rail Transit, Lansdowne redevelopment, infrastructure development and renewal, park and community center renewals, recycling and waste management, economic development, Ottawa 2017, affordable housing, and I could go on and on of their contributions to our city and their specific communities. Today, I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of management and all of your fellow elected officials to thank you for your hard work and commitment to making Ottawa the wonderful city it is. J'aimerais profiter de l'occasion pour remercier.
Today, I would like to take this opportunity to thank these councillors for all of their hard work and commitment to making Ottawa the wonderful city that it is.
Specifically for you as a token of our appreciation. Before I invite City Manager Kent Kirkpatrick to come forward to assist me with the presentations, I want to acknowledge the city photographer, Roger Lalonde, for all the creativity that you will see in just a moment and work he has put into this project. Thank you very much, Roger. Merci beaucoup, Roger. Now I'd like Kent to come forward. And our first recipient is Councillor Rainer Blois. If Councillor Blois could come forward as well. I think why don't we both do right here. Welcome, Rainer. And it's great, I should acknowledge, there are lots of family members and friends in the audience, so this is one of these meetings that is bittersweet in many ways because some of our friends who have been here a long time are leaving office, so it's a wonderful gathering of family, friends, and supporters from your community. So thank you very much for taking the time to be with us and celebrate their achievements. Councillor Blois has been serving our community in a variety of capacities for more than 2 decades and was first elected to Gloucester Council in 1994. Now, I think he remembers this. The very first time I had the opportunity to meet Rainer was that we were battling market value assessment. He was for it, I was against it, and I said, who is this guy, Rainer Blois? And you won. He's also been involved at the volunteer level with a number of organizations within his community for many, many years before being elected. He's been an avid supporter and defender of OC Transpo and one of Council's most regular users of this service. He was also co-chair of the 2017 task force that will next year release its very exciting and dynamic plans for Canada's 150th birthday in 2017. Today, we're presenting Councillor Blois with a landscape photo of a marshy area between the mainland and Petrie Island taken at dawn, which I know holds special meaning for Councillor Blois. Thank you, Rainer, for your years of service. We wish you the very best in the next chapter of your life.
seriously, I wasn't going to say anything. The original plan was, I know where the exit is, I know how to head out of here, and I know when it's time to go and it's the right time to go. Interestingly enough, I know this picture well. I've paddled around there, but never at that time of the day. So, a little too early for me. I really didn't prepare any notes. I didn't really want to say anything, but I'd be remiss, I would regret it if I didn't say anything. 20 years. Just like that, gone. Good 20 years. No real regrets. I could look back at some of the things that we did do and didn't do and everything else, and I must admit I could use a Machiavellian quote that I used when I first met you here at Regional Council about taking risks, making change. That's not the right time to say that quote now. It would have been profound. I could talk about things, decisions that we did at Council. I think some of the times I was right, whether it was urban boundaries, whether it was some of the changes to LRT, whether it was transit changes. That's not the right time to say this. I think the right thing to say is I look at what this country's done for us, what this city's done for me, and it's been a good ride. From the time, I guess, that I was born in a DP camp, came to this country as an immigrant, came to Carleton University, got elected. It's been a good ride. My kids got a better education than me, better career path than me. That means they won't be doing politics. They're well on their way, so those things are all good. I look at the future for this city, and I think it's a solid future. The future for this city is great. Our forefathers put together a foundation that we've been building on. LRT is one of those building blocks. Lansdowne is a building block. What we're doing to the river, those are all building blocks looking forward. There are more things we can do. Mr. Mayor, I know we had a chat about how we link the two sides of the river together. We have 3 levels of government, or 3 different governments. My dream was for 2017 to see the two sides linked with an aerial transit system, an aerial cable car that links Plastic Curry with LeBreton Flats, the 2 transit systems, instead of running empty buses past each other during peak hours every day. I don't know if that'll ever happen. It may take some partnership with the NCC, but that'll be in your hands. So, I would be remiss if I didn't thank a whole bunch of people, and I'll start off with Mr. Kirkpatrick. Kent, thanks a lot. Always supportive. Senior staff, city staff, my own staff. You're only as good as your office staff, and they've been there with me. I still have the same office person from 1994. You don't see her around here much, but she still works with me, so that's a good one. To my colleagues, those who are staying, good luck in your endeavors. Those who are leaving, all the best for your future travels and trails. And the new ones coming in, good luck. There's a learning curve, but you'll learn it. You'll do well. I'm optimistic about the people coming in. I think it's a great crop. It's a great crew coming in. If I didn't mention, there is an impact on families. I think everybody around the table knows it. Something I hope the new ones balance off better than some of us old ones. Finally, I should say, Lynn, thanks for putting up with me. And thanks for embarking on the next trek. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Councillor Blois. Our next recipient is Councillor Peter Clark, representing Rideau Rockcliffe Ward. Councillor Clark, if you could please join us here. Councillor Clark has more than 3 decades of experience in municipal politics and has served our community as in a number of roles, including Mayor of the Township of Cumberland, first elected Chair of the Regional Municipality of Ottawa-Carleton, and now as a City Councillor for the City of Ottawa. His attention to the bottom line and detail has been one of his trademarks. His work to redefine the LRT route allowed us to pass the plan within its $1.2 billion allocated budget, and for this we're truly appreciative. Today, we are presenting Councillor Clark with a photo of Stanley Park off Stanley Street in New Edinburgh, near the Bytown Bridge, an area that's very special for Peter.
I was going to have to burden council to make a few remarks. I've only got a 10-minute speech, so get comfortable. Actually, rain or blow spoke for long enough that all the rest of us are going to be a relief. And I think of my first meeting with Kent in the chair's boardroom at the Region. You remember that too, don't you? Anyway, that's where he first found out that I like a lot of fun. 1982 is when I first got involved as Reeve of Cumberland. Halfway through that term, it became called mayor. So I was the first mayor of Cumberland, the last Reeve, the first elected chair of the region, and amazing what kind of trouble you can get into with those kind of jobs. I didn't start out life thinking about this. I actually wanted to be an accountant. And I probably might have been happier. But you look, from 1982, I counted up the number of different councils I sat on. That includes 8 years as mayor/Reeve of Cumberland and regional council at the same time. So that comes to a total of 22 different councils. So I've met a lot of elected people, and by and large, they're the most dedicated people you want to meet. This group is the most collegial, the most collaborative, and the most dedicated to achievement of mutual goals of any council I've ever sat on. This council deserves a lot of congratulations for the work it accomplished and for the way it got accomplished. A lot of people say there wasn't enough fire and brimstone during the meetings. Well, frankly, that's not necessarily the way you get things done. Mr. Smooth. Any event, I am looking forward to a new range of activities, slightly more limited than the one I just have left. I could talk for a long time, but one by one, everybody around that table, and they wouldn't like it very much. Don't talk about me, but you know, they deserve to be talked about, and they deserve to be talked about with a lot of respect. I'd like to thank them for their help over the last 4 years and for their work in getting a lot accomplished on time, within budget, and sure, there were a couple burps, but you know, sometimes those are beyond the control of the people that are trying to control them. So I've enjoyed it. I look forward to enjoying some other activities now, and I look forward to watching the newbies get, I guess, what do you call that? Baptism of blood or something like that. I wish them all well. And thank you to staff for getting things done, much as I always thought you could do them faster. And Steve for providing a whipping boy. That was good. And Miriam, you're the best treasurer that ever existed. Thanks all.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Our next recipient is Councillor Diane Holmes, representing Somerset Ward. If Councillor Holmes could also join us, please, next to our city manager. Councillor Diane Holmes has more than 3 decades of experience in municipal politics, having first been elected to City Council in 1982 for what was then called Wellington Ward. Since that time, she has been dedicated to many community and citywide priorities and has maintained a strong interest in planning, the environment, transportation, culture, health services, women's issues, and steadfast support for the GLBT community. Her advocacy for the poor and those that otherwise don't have a voice is legendary in our city. Her work to promote equality and diversity inside and outside of City Hall is to be commended. Today, we are presenting Councillor Holmes with a photo of the view of the Corktown Footbridge in the fall, something that she fought for extremely hard. Diane, thank you very much for 3 decades of dedication and commitment to your city.
Well, thank you very much. It has been a wonderful 30 years working with all kinds of groups, from setting up the Women's Action Centre Against Violence to the Crime Prevention Council, working with all kinds of groups around the city and, of course, particularly in my ward. But I couldn't have done it without my staff, who are wonderful and who have supported me, and you certainly can't do this work without a great office staff, and the city staff, who have supported me in many, many issues and many, many projects, and to the councils over the years. They have been supportive and helpful in maintaining a downtown that's alive and vital and interesting for residents as well as tourists, of course. So thank you to everybody for the help you've given me all those years. I really appreciate it, and couldn't have done it without all the assistance from everybody. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor Holmes. Our next recipient is Councillor Catherine Hobbs, representing Kitchissippi Ward. Councillor Hobbs, could you please join us? Welcome. Councillor Hobbs was elected as the councillor for Kitchissippi Ward in the 2010 municipal election. During her time in office, she was dedicated to serving her community. Together with Councillor Blois, she co-chaired our 2017 task force and was a strong advocate to ensure that the arts community was fully integrated into the plans. Councillor Hobbs has also had a strong record of community service through volunteerism and is an advocate for the arts, Citizens for Safe Cycling, and Heritage Ottawa. She also saw more CDPs in her ward than anywhere else and had Ottawa's first complete street constructed, Churchill Avenue. Additionally, she actively invested parkland funds into revitalizing many of the parks in her ward that had been neglected for many years. Today, we're presenting Councillor Hobbs with a photo of Winston Square Park between the Piggy Market and the Westboro Legion on Richmond Road. The black and white photo prominently shows the outdoor black and white furniture in this square, the first urban square built onto a street of its kind in Ottawa. Thank you, Councillor Hobbs.
Thank you so much, Mayor Watson. Thank you, Roger, for that shot. It's absolutely beautiful. It reminds me of when, we were having a lot of trouble constructing the square. There was a lot of challenges, and a whole group came up, and a group of planners from North America, and wanted to see the square, and it was under construction. But one of the main questions they had was, how were you able to get park money to use to build a park on a city street? And we sat there and said, we don't know. We never thought about that. We just, went about this project as we went about all the projects in Kitchissippi and got it done. And now it is a beautiful oasis along Richmond Road, and I'm really proud of that. Amongst other things, the mayor mentioned Churchill Avenue, the first complete street in Ottawa. It has raised and segregated cycling lanes, and it will be the model for other complete streets in the city. So I'm incredibly proud of some of our firsts in Kitchissippi, some of our incredible accomplishments in the city, which I was able to take part in. Light rail is one of those, and the co-chairing the 2017 committee was just such a pleasure and an honor, as well as sitting on transit and planning, and for a while I was on community and protective services. So I can't thank the city enough. I think my journey here, I don't want to talk too long, I don't want to top Rayner's time, but I think my journey here started when I was in Ethiopia for a year in 2002. That city that I lived in lacked a lot of things like sewers, roads, electricity, healthcare, water, just some of the basics that you kind of like to have in your life. And when I came back to Ottawa, I felt very lucky to live in a country and in a city that had all of those things and more. And Ottawa is an incredible city. So it sort of took me on my journey to try and do things for my city. And I ended up in council, which this 4 years has been an incredible opportunity and adventure, and allowed me the opportunity to make a mark on the city, and I'm very proud of that. I just want to say thank you so much to all the staff. Amazing. My start in this role was the convent, and I had so much senior staff out in support and helping me with that incredible issue that had dominated Kitchissippi and still tends to affect Kitchissippi. But I can't thank you enough for all of that. Marianne, you've been mentioned, and you were very helpful in that. And Rick, Steve, Nancy, thank you so much. Kent, you're an amazing city manager. Thank you. Mayor Watson, this job would not have been anywhere near as fun and amazing and interesting if it wasn't for Mayor Watson. If people think that the mayor doesn't make a difference, the mayor makes a very big difference. He's made a difference for all of us on council. It has made it just incredible. I'm so full of admiration for you, and I'm so happy to have worked alongside you. You're just a great person and so funny and so much energy. And whenever I was like going to 4 or 5 engagements in a Saturday, I'm thinking, okay, I'm tired, but Watson's at 16. I know he's at 16 today. And everywhere I went, they go, well, the mayor's already been here. So that was frustrating, yet quite incredible. Yeah. He always bought the best baked goods first. Okay, really now I am exceeding my time. I just want to thank you so much to everyone, to Kitchissippi, to the media. You do just as hard a job as we do. You have to go to all these committee meetings and council meetings, and that's tough. And really appreciate all you do and all my colleagues. It's been a real pleasure. Wish everyone the best of luck, and the city as well. Continue to be the great place that it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Hobbs. Our next recipient is Councillor Maria McRae, representing River Ward. If Councillor McRae could come and join us. And it's great to have Councillor McRae's mom and dad with us today, and her husband and friends. And your dad was telling me, Maria, this is the 11th year they've been here for this council meeting. So it's great to have them with us all the way from Sudbury. Councillor McRae has extensive experience in municipal politics, having served our city since 2003, when she was first elected city councillor for River Ward. Prior to her role in municipal politics, Councillor McRae was very involved in the community in a volunteer capacity. She was a strong advocate for community facility upgrades, whether it was the beautiful new Rideau Rowing Club or the Hunt Club Riverside Community Centre expansion, which is just an amazing addition to that great facility in the South End. During her term on City Council, she has worked hard for the residents of River Ward and residents throughout the city. As chair of the Environment Committee, she was a tireless advocate for waste diversion and recycling. Today, we're presenting Councillor McRae with a photo of the Airport Parkway pedestrian bridge at night. Now, you weren't supposed to laugh at that point. This is a project that obviously received a fair amount of attention, but Councillor McRae was relentless in her desire to not only get to the bottom of the challenges, but also to get the bridge built. And just in a few days on Saturday, we officially dedicate that bridge, which really is quite beautiful, as you'll see in the photo in just a moment. Councillor, on behalf of your colleagues and the staff and the residents of the City of Ottawa, thank you for your dedication, your passion, and your commitment to your city. Merci.
Hello, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I was saying to Kent, to actually have you turn around and say how much you love the design of that bridge was part of the list of things we had to get done. So a third-party review was difficult enough, but I think getting you on board was even more difficult than that. For people who've ever served in public office, they will know that this is probably one of the best jobs you'll ever have in your whole entire life. And in short, Mr. Mayor, I think that we can all say City Hall rocks. But, Mr. Mayor, I have rocked City Hall. So I want to say three things before I go. First of all, I want to say thank you. I want to start out by thanking the staff in our office. We've had incredible people work in our office, right down to our summer student, Andrew DeCappa, who's actually coming back to see the bridge open from Queens, which is amazing. I certainly want to thank City of Ottawa staff. And I look around this table and I think of the amazing people I've worked with. And collectively, I couldn't imagine a greater talent pool. And I look at the things that we've done either together or with other groups. And the footprint of this city is so large that when you look at what we've accomplished in short periods of time, it's simply amazing. I definitely want to thank my City Council colleagues of all 3 terms in office. Certainly, we've done a lot of things together and certainly laughed a lot. And one of the reporters this morning was asking me about some funny moments. And I think I'd be remiss, Mr. Mayor, if we didn't always include Jan Harder in some of those funny moments. From my first budget meeting when we were yelling at each other across the horseshoe, up until I used to call her. Every email I would get where someone would be upset, I'd call her and I'd say, oh my goodness, Jan, this person's mad about this. And she'd always say, how many people live in River Ward? I'd say 50,000. And how many wrote you an email? 1. What does that tell you? Well, there's one person who's upset, and she'd get mad, and we do it all over again. So I want to acknowledge Council and the beautiful notes that you've sent me. The BBMs, the messages are just unbelievable from Council colleagues. I want to also thank the groups that we've worked with over the years, sponsors. It's unbelievable how generous this city is. We'd have an event, and you could get trucks to bring the stuff in with door prizes they'd give, and certainly volunteers. And I absolutely want to thank members of our media corps who we work with. It's been a great experience for me to get to know our media. Certainly some days little brown envelopes were easier to slip under doors when it was for the right reasons. And I'm laughing at some of our colleagues by the pillar over there. But definitely we've learned a lot in working together. And I want to also thank Paul and my parents who are here today. But I want to thank the residents of River Ward. And I know that some people have come here specifically just to say goodbye. And definitely thank you for returning me to office twice with massive majorities, and the first time with a big one as well. And those are important things because you know they really want you in office. And Mr. Mayor, it's a segue to saying we've done many things together at this council, big and small. You've mentioned them in your opening, whether it's celebrating the opening of a crosswalk that's actually going to change lives in a community, to celebrating the opening of our awesome bridge that we're going to do on Saturday, and everything in between, Lansdowne, Light Rail. We could talk for hours about the great accomplishments of this council. And Michael Ignatieff had said recently, if you go into politics, unless you love it, you can't do it well. And I think, Mr. Mayor, most of us around this table could say that we actually love it. So my final comments, Mr. Mayor, are a little bit of advice to the incoming councillors. People have asked me, what would you tell them? And the first thing I always say is, remember how you got here. That the residents put you here, not for an agenda that you're bringing, not for some stakeholder agenda, but because they're your bosses. So when they call, you listen. When they invite you to come to a meeting, you go. And I think it goes without saying that that's the #1 job. Certainly have fun. I have had so much fun in this job. I found a newspaper article written a year after I was in office, and the headline was, "The most exciting year of my life." And I can tell you there were some days that I would drive down Bronson Avenue so happy to get to the office that I wouldn't dry my hair some days. I'd be just like, I have to go to work. I will admit I got one speeding ticket, which I paid promptly as soon as I got here, so no one would find out about it. Where's Sue? But I had a lot of fun in this job. And the last thing I want to say is to work hard. You cannot do this job if you're not willing to work hard. And that could mean doing email at midnight sometimes if there's a challenge or a crisis in your ward. It could be going to another evening meeting in February when it's really cold and you really don't want to go because you've been out every night that week and you have stuff to do at 6 o'clock the next morning, but you certainly want to work hard. So, Mr. Mayor, it's been a great honor, a privilege to serve. I'm going to try and say this without crying, but I want to dedicate this day to our family matriarch who passed away in the middle of the night, and 91, who was a role model for women and who always believed in me. So, Joyce McRae, thank you. Right.
Well, thank you very, very much, Councillor. Our Deputy Clerk, Leslie, where's Leslie? Over there. She said 6 months ago, this is the kiss and cry meeting, and she was right. Thank you, Councillor McRae. Our next recipient is Councillor Peter Hume, who represents Alta Vista Ward. If Councillor Hume could come forward at this time. Why not? Councillor Hume has been serving our city and the Alta Vista Canterbury community for more than 2 decades. He was first elected as a city councillor in 1991 and served on the Regional Council for Ottawa-Carleton. As chair of the Planning Committee, he was masterful in shepherding the official plan through council and was instrumental in expanding recycling in our city. Councillor Hume is an active member of his community, sponsoring and participating many new and exciting projects and events, whether it's the tree planting to deal with that terrible emerald ash borer, or speed limit initiatives that have been the envy of every other ward in the city. He was also an effective leader at the provincial level, serving several terms as president of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, better known as AMO, and co-signing the historic Upload Agreement, a municipal provincial framework that has benefited our city tremendously. Today, we are presenting Councillor Hume with a photo of the east end of the Aberdeen Pavilion at Lansdowne Park facing the Rideau Canal. This was a project many of you know that Peter was personally involved in to save the Aberdeen Pavilion. And then, as fate would have it, several decades later, he was instrumental in moving the Lansdowne Park redevelopment process through to ensure that we maximize the amount of green space and the preservation of the horticulture building and the Aberdeen Pavilion. Peter, thank you very, very much for your leadership and for your friendship and for the tremendous work you've done on behalf of Alta Vista, Canterbury, and Riverview, as well as the city and the province.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor Watson. It's interesting. 23 years, I've had a good run. I've had a really, really good run. And I can say, Mayor Watson, that if I think back, in that run, there have been some really great achievements. And it's kind of interesting that you've been at the center of them in all of those times. We first got elected in 1991, and our first project together was the Aberdeen Pavilion. And Jim at the time was much more confident than I was. I was newly elected. This wasn't really involved in a lot of politics, certainly not like the mayor was. And I was consumed with worry about being a one-termer. I didn't want to be a one-termer. And Jim said, forget about that. Let's do this Aberdeen Pavilion, and we won't have to worry about that. And, of course, he was right. He went on to be the mayor of Ottawa, and I came to regional council where I met Kent and other talented individuals. And, I was pleased to be on Kent's hiring panel when Kent became the city manager. And I think we would all agree that it was one of the, well, I will tell you, it was one of the best decisions that I ever made as a councillor. And when the mayor and my path crossed again, he was the Minister of Municipal Affairs, I was the president of AMO, and we negotiated quite difficult negotiations to change the financial framework, which is benefiting municipalities and will benefit municipalities for decades to come. And in this last term, as he became the mayor again and I became the chair of planning committee together, we have reshaped planning in the city of Ottawa and laid a framework that I believe will be a benefit to growth in the city, and it will be transformative in the way our city grows. And so, those three major accomplishments, Mayor, I've always been pleased that you've been a partner and at the center of them. But I would ask you to do one more thing for the citizens of Ottawa. You do a tremendous amount. But the last 4 years, you have taken a keen interest in urban planning, in urban design. You have worked tirelessly to raise the bar. And I would ask you, on behalf of the planning committee that has just had its final meeting, that you continue that strong interest, because it's with that interest, and it's not something that other mayors have been interested in, I will tell you quite honestly. But what that has given to your planning committee and your planning department is an incredible sense of purpose, and it has allowed the department to be what it wants to be and what it has always wanted to be. So that's incredibly important, and I think that your department and your new planning committee and your new planning chairman will be able to make that step, take the next steps in transforming that city. But that will only happen with your continued strong support. So I would implore you on my behalf to continue the great leadership that you have exercised in urban planning, because I think your next 4 years will be better than your past 4 years. You've been a tremendous advocate for planning and urban development. We thank you now, but I think if you continue that role, as I know you will, the city will be ever more grateful and ever more transformative, and there will be a chapter not about light rail and not about great management, but about urban planning in the history of Ottawa that will bear your name, and I think that that is an incredible legacy for you and for the city of Ottawa. So, Mayor, thank you for all of that dedication. I could thank a lot of people, but there's two people that I haven't thanked that aren't here with me today. Sorry, I have a little, I was away and I caught a little bit of a cold. My daughter Helen and my wife Anne Marie, you don't often realize, you thank them and you say that they're involved and they're very supportive, but it's not often that you know how supportive they actually are. It's not uncommon. You try to get away and say, hi, Anne-Marie, you're my wife. Let's get reacquainted. You're out every night, as Councillor McRae said. And I will tell you that this job never lets you get away. There have been members of the legal department who have, you're trying to get off a cruise ship to go to a beach, and they're saying, you got to get to some Wi-Fi because we're in settlement talks with this developer, and we need your input. Well, your wife goes to the beach, and you go find some Wi-Fi so that you can keep connected. And they don't get angry. They don't say, that's bad. They're just supportive because they know that that's what you want to do. For those of you who know Helen, Helen's a budding ski racer, and I was very lucky. For the first time I was able to take her to a national ski race, which quite proud as I was. We were in Panorama, British Columbia, and you're on the side of a mountain, and of course, as I ought to do, I carried my BlackBerry with me. We're in the middle of the race, and my BlackBerry goes off. It's actually my phone. I pick up my phone, and I say, listen, can you give me 5 minutes? We're in the middle of something here. And they said, no, we can't. We really actually need to talk to you right now. So I turn my back, and I give the person at the end of the line 5 minutes. Well, maybe it was 10, only to turn back and to see Helen and 4 of her colleagues have already raced by. So you go to the bottom of the hill, and she says, how do you think I did? And I said, Helen, I'm sorry, I missed it. And she says, that's okay. That's the type of support you get in these jobs. And I am looking forward to being able to not to worry about not only missing that telephone call, but missing that race. And for the first time in quite a long time, I've been able to say to Helen and to Anne-Marie, actually, we're going to be able to go here and not have to worry about what's happening back here. So for them, I thank them for all of their support and for what they have done and allowed me to do what I have done for 23 years. I've loved every minute of it, but I'm certain that I will love every minute after it. So thank you very much.
I don't know what it is about this side of the horseshoe. Everyone seems to be leaving on that side except Rayner. Always the lone wolf, right, Rayner? Thank you very much, Councillor Hume. Our next recipient is Councillor Doug Thompson, representing Osgood Ward. If Councillor Thompson could come and join us. We're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not finished yet.
That's right. Councillor Thompson has brought a wealth of municipal experience to his role with the City of Ottawa when he was first elected to City Council, Ottawa City Council in 2000. In addition to Councillor Thompson's experience with the City of Ottawa, he also served as both mayor and councillor with the Township of Osgood and was the last mayor of the Township of Osgood. Doug was instrumental in securing funding for a new library in Greeley, as well as record dollars for rural roads throughout the city and in particular Osgood Ward. Doug has been a very strong voice for rural Ottawa and has served with distinction as president of the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, ROMA, as well as chair of our Agriculture and Rural Affairs Committee. Today, we are presenting Councillor Thompson with a photo of a fall scene from the Osgood Link multi-use pathway near Mitch Owens Drive. The 21-kilometer pathway runs on an abandoned rail corridor from Leitrim Road to Buckle Street through the village of Osgood, and was one of Doug's proudest accomplishments, working with the community, the province, the federal government, and the city to see this beautiful pathway, recreational pathway, put in place. Doug, it's been a real pleasure working with you, both when you were Mayor of Osgood and I was Mayor of Ottawa back then, and now as Councillor for the City of Ottawa representing Osgood Ward. A true gentleman. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much for those kind words, Mr. Mayor. And just wondering, could someone get the mayor a chair? I'm going to be here for a few minutes. I would like to start off by asking Leslie Donnelly to come forward. Leslie? Leslie, I better get up to the mic. I want to begin by thanking Leslie Donnelly, our Deputy City Clerk. She's known affectionately as the godmother of the councillors, and one of her roles is to make sure that we don't get into trouble. There have been a few times that I've called Leslie, and I have to say, Leslie, I think that in the years I've been here and you've been Deputy City Clerk, I think there's only one or two times that I've called, doesn't matter what day or what time of day or in the weekend, that you answer. And the one bit of advice that I would give to the new councillors coming in, if Leslie calls and she says, "Hi, councillor," you're okay. But if she says, "Councillor," you're in for a bit of a problem. And I know we've had a few disagreements over the years, but very few, but on each and every one of those I lost. But even with that, I just want to present you with this bouquet of flowers in appreciation of the support that you've given me and my staff. It's much appreciated. I just, if I might, Mr. Mayor, I received an email late last night, and do you mind if I read it? Thank you. It says, "Dear Doug, congratulations on your much-deserved retirement. Please pass this message on to Mayor Watson. Please ensure Councillor Thompson has a day named in his honor. I should have received that respect, but unfortunately it never happened. Yours sincerely, Shannon Tweed." And in the package, Sue, Sherry, would you come forward for a moment? I received this a few days ago, but it's a signed. No hats. This is the Gene Simmons family. Each one of them signed this, and they asked that I give it to you personally.
That's lovely. You shouldn't have.
First of all, Mayor Watson, or your worship, or just Jim, thank you for your leadership, your dedication to our entire city, as well as the tremendous interaction you've shown with staff and councillors. I had, as you know, matter of fact, I had asked you to speak at my retirement party in 2010 because I decided to retire. But I did come back, and I'm so happy that I did, because it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve with you and my colleagues here. And you've made a real difference to our city, and I want to acknowledge that personally. To my city council colleagues, and I apologize that my back is to many of you, but over the years, some of you have been here with me for 14 years, others have come on, but you've always shown a great deal of compassion, kindness, and outstanding support for me. And I think we all collectively should be very proud of the accomplishments that we have made for our residents and for our citizens. You certainly are a remarkable group of men and women. I apologize to the men. I presented each of the ladies with a little flower there, but I didn't think you guys would want flowers, so maybe I will. I want to say that I've been blessed with an absolutely outstanding office staff. Jennifer Johnson, I don't know where she is. Did I take some of your papers? Okay. Jennifer Johnson is up here, just an incredible lady. Matter of fact, we were texting back and forth. I think it was 9:30 last night. She was picking up stuff for me today, and she thought it was going to be a slow week this week, but we've been just pouring out the letters and sending in the bills to Leslie to be paid. But thank you, Jennifer, for all the support you've given me, and I'm certainly going to miss. I was just saying the other day, almost every Monday morning, whether I'm coming into the office or going to another meeting, I always call in, and I'm going to miss that. She said, Doug, you can call in every Monday morning if you like, so I may do that. Nick Randall, right here, just a fabulous person. As many of you know, I'm not too high in IT, and Nick has been a great asset to that, and a good policy advisor, and appreciate all the work he's done in supporting me and our residents. Karen Fernie, many of you don't know her. She's relegated to the Metcalfe office, but Karen, stand up so people do see you. She has helped me immensely out in the ward, and I appreciate all that she had done. I wanted to acknowledge a group of residents just very quickly. I know many of them are here, different facets of Osgood Ward. The cadets. I know, Leslie, we had a little battle one time about funding cadets, and I won that one, I think, but I think it's is it 2951 CFB Leitrim cadets? They ran into some major difficulties financially and a place to go, and I helped them out 3 or 4 years ago, and they've been sort of nomads, but now they've found a home. The Osgood Legion has taken them over, and they have a spot in Vernon at the community center, and they have been so nice to me because of the little bit of assistance I gave to them. Every place I go this past year, they have said, could we come and help out? And so I thought I would invite them here today, and here they are, so stand up. There are other people. I know, Mr. Mayor, I got that evil look, but I won't be much longer. There are other people here, and just a few. My family, you wait, you get it later, but Stuart Holmes is here with his wife, and Stuart and I go way back. He knew me when I was 3 years old, and he taught at a rural school just next to the house that our family lived in. And I was a big kid. I was 12 pounds when I was born. I was ready to go to school when I was 3. So I would walk over to the school, and Stuart would be very kind, but he'd turn me around and shoot me back home. But thanks for coming out today, Stuart. Tom and Janet Cavan. Tom is a retired firefighter, lives in Metcalfe, and his family are 4 generations of firefighters, some with the city, and they're all with the city, volunteers and full-time. So, Tom, thank you for coming out. I know there's people here, Richard Gardner from the racetrack, and Linda and Marcel Monsian, great supporters, live in Osgood Ward. Appreciate you coming out. Residents and the media often joke about my hats, and I know Sue was tweeting back and forth in this last week. I wonder what hat he's going to wear today. And I do have a hat. I'm going to wear it in just a moment. But there's hats sitting on the seats there, and I don't know if you people are brave enough. Maybe you'd like to put one on. It's Tom, you look good in that. Take that to Florida with you. But the one I wanted to, there's one hat that I wanted to talk about today, and this is a fireman's hat that it was given to me by Jerry Bennett. He was the former fire chief in Osgood Ward. He's now a fire chief in Gananoque. And I don't know, Jerry said he was coming. I don't know if he's here or not. But anyway, this hat was given to me by Jerry just for thanking me for helping with the township. And after 9/11, there was a fundraiser at the NAC in support of the firefighters from New York City. And just on a whim, I was going out the door and I said, Mary Lynn, I'm going to take my hat with me. So I took it down, and just before intermission, they said they were going to have an auction. So I said, well, why don't you take this up and auction it off? And Mary Lynn and I had another engagement, so we had to leave. And when the next day, Dwight Eastman stayed, and he called me up and he said, Doug, you won't believe it. The lady from Rockcliffe Park paid $3,500 for the hat. I said, that's great. As time went on, this lady would take the hat and she would go around to her friends in her area, and for $500 a pop, they would get their picture taken with this hat. And over the course of time, she raised over $16,000 just with this hat. So in total, this hat raised, and I believe the money always went to the fire services. And she sent me a really nice note. And she said, Doug, I don't want anyone to know I did this. I don't want any public acknowledgement, but you deserve the hat back. And so this is a hat that means a great deal to me. I think it means a great deal to the fire service as well. And so that's one of the reasons that I put on funny hats. I know, Miss Hale, you have a hat on. So can I put my hat on while I finish? Okay, thank you. Oh, I better not. It won't fit now. I would also like to acknowledge George Drews, Councillor-elect for Osgood Ward, chosen by the residents to represent them on City Council. George is excited about working to ensure a brighter future for our community and our city. And I don't know why people like him so much. He's younger. He's better looking than I am. He speaks 3 languages. What's he got that I haven't? Not sure. The opportunity to be a member of our nation's city capital is certainly a remarkable honor in itself. I believe Ottawa City Council is held in high esteem by our residents and politicians all across Canada, and I'm sure that the 2014-2018 City Council will continue to be admired and to be respected as it has in the past. My decision to retire after 31 years was probably one of the most difficult decisions I had to make, yet I know that the time is right, and now I will have the opportunity to experience new initiatives, interesting challenges, and the opportunity to spend more time with my family, if they want me to. I just go very quickly. My oldest son, Jason, lives in Edmonton, works in Fort McMurray, and so he couldn't fly in for today. His 2 children, Dana and Brett, teenagers. One had a school trip today and wasn't able to make it, and the other is 18 and has a car, so I don't think he's going to come down here. Jarrett, second son, is here. Aaron wasn't able to make it today, but they have 3 children, Tristan, Will, who are both in school, and Hannah, who was just a little munchkin, but we got out to a hockey game on Friday night, and or was it Sunday? And we're going out to another one on Friday night. So this is what it is when you're slowing down in politics. Ryan is back in Ottawa. He loves it here now. Thank you, Jan. He worked in the city of Calabasas as transportation planner, but he's back studying for his doctorate. And I'm sure he will enjoy it in February when it's about minus 40 and it's 20 in Los Angeles. My daughter Angela is here. Of all the children, believe it or not, she was 60 minutes away from getting a Grey Cup ring. She was with the Edmonton Oilers, and they went to the Game 7, and they lost in Carolina, wasn't it? Those Rats. But she is now back in Ottawa and now working with Pepsi Canada. Shelley, where is Shelley? There's Shelley. She has little Avery there with her, but she works for the Ottawa Art Gallery, and we're very pleased with all the work that she's doing on behalf of that organization for the city. Jody and Andre are here with Avery and Olivia, and Avery just moved back with his parents and his sister to Ottawa, and so now they're pleased to be here. Go Senators, go! No, still go Habs, go! I wanted to also, just as other retirees have said, that I wanted to take a minute to thank Mary Lynn, who along with me has experienced the ups and downs of political life. A certainly heartfelt thank you to you. Being part of a political family requires great compassion, dedication, and a keen sense of community spirit. And I know we've had some exciting times. I know one individual dropped by the house one morning about 7 o'clock, banged on the front door. I think we were still in bed, so we just left it, and he walked around and started banging on our patio door because he wanted to talk to me, but he called me later. I want to, in closing, I want to say I have honestly been overwhelmed by the kindness and the heartfelt words of appreciation, all the plaques, the picture today, the certificates that have been received by myself. It's just incredible. Can't believe it. Never thought it would ever happen, and I will forever be indebted to all of those who have shown their support to me in these last few months, which have been a bit difficult for me to pull the plug and move away because I enjoy this work so much. But as I said, I do know it's time. So those outstanding friendships, accomplishments that we've achieved by working together, and the remarkable satisfaction of a job well done are memories that I will keep with me for the rest of my life. So thank you very much. You should put that on.
Thanks, guys. That was great. Well done. Well, thank you very, very much, Councillor Thompson. That was great. Our final recipient is Councillor Steve DeRush, representing Gloucester South Nepean Ward. I'm going to ask Councillor DeRush to come forward with our city manager. Councillor DeRush was first elected to City Council in 2006 to represent the newly created ward of Gloucester South Nepean, and has helped shepherd one of the fastest growing wards in our city. In 2010, he was appointed deputy mayor by his colleagues and has done a remarkable job, together with Eli El-Shantiri, representing the city at hundreds and hundreds of events. He also fought hard for community infrastructure throughout his ward and was an advocate for the many veterans in our city. Among his accomplishments, Councillor DeRush has been instrumental in championing the infrastructure needs of this rapidly growing region, as well as improved transit to the community. Today, we're presenting Councillor DeRush with a photo of the Vimy Memorial Bridge in fall colors, in remembrance of all of the soldiers who fought during one of Canada's greatest and most important battles, the Battle of Vimy Ridge. The City of Ottawa recently named its newest bridge after this pivotal military victory. As of November 8th, the bridge connecting Strandherd Drive to Earl Armstrong Road is named Vimy Memorial Bridge, and this project was perhaps his most important infrastructure project over the term of council. Councillor and Deputy Mayor, thank you very, very much for your years of service and certainly for your support as Deputy Mayor over the last 4 years. It's been a remarkable journey you had. It's great to see your kids and Michelle here with you to celebrate this important milestone in your career, and we wish you the best in the years to come. Félicitations.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Merci beaucoup. Very pleased to be joined here today with my family, my wife, Michelle, my sons, Jack and Bennett, and the twins, Max and Zoe, who are now 2. J'ai souvent dit ici même dans cette salle.
I often said in this room that my ward has seen a lot of growth, and in part because of my family.
Arbitration, long hours, conflict management, raucous debates. I'm usually talking about my kids and not City Hall. I want to thank my wife and my children for their support. My view has always been that the decisions and the deliberations that we make here today are for Jack, Bennett, Max, and Zoe. And we need to continue to think about the next generation and not necessarily about the next election when we make decisions for our city. In 2006, I ran, I think, for the right reasons, to push a local project forward to serve our community. And over the last 8 years, I've had an amazing vantage point to watch our city grow and thrive. Au cours des 8 dernières années, j'ai
Over the last 8 years, I had a privileged vantage point to see our city grow and prosper.
We delivered a large number of key infrastructure projects for our community. I'm very proud of the work that has been accomplished during my tenure as Councillor for Ward 22. This has been a very long journey. And my ward is very large, as you know, stretching from Finley Creek to Barrhaven, some 25 kilometers. And my ward has very much doubled in population and benefited from a significant amount of infrastructure to keep up with the growth. I am very proud of the Vimy Memorial Bridge and all the investments we've made in that very important transit and transportation corridor. And my ward is now one ward. It's no longer East Egg and West Egg. This bridge connects 2 very important communities in the south of Ottawa. I'm glad to see that the bridge is being well used by many families and many residents. It's important to transit, and it's also important for the local business. And it's great to see Mr. and Mrs. Monsian here from Monsian's Grocers, and I'm sure he'll tell you how much the bridge has benefited his business. We've improved our transit by extending the Southwest Transitway, which at that time was the largest transit project in the city. We've built new park and rides for families because we know that it's critical for them to have that kind of flexibility. And I do want to thank my colleague, Councillor Harder, who is a great partner in helping deliver some of these very important projects in our community. Looking ahead, Mr. Mayor, we are building a great city, one that is worthy of the status as the nation's capital. I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your trust and your confidence to serve this city as Deputy Mayor. I'd also like to thank Mr. Kirkpatrick and all your staff for your support over the years. I often tell residents in the community that I'm going to go down and tell Mr. Kirkpatrick what to do. The reality is I'm usually going back and begging Mr. Kirkpatrick to deliver certain things for our community. So I want to thank you and your staff for their professionalism and their dedication to our city. I also want to thank my staff, Alex and Andrea and Anthony and Dina. Andrea has been with me 6 years, and it's very much like losing my right arm. And I want to thank the staff for their hard work in supporting me and supporting the residents of Gloucester South Nepean. The city is offers a tremendous opportunity for so many people. I arrived in Ottawa in 1988 as a page in the House of Commons. I would never have predicted that I would serve the city I love as Deputy Mayor. I've always stood tall for my community. We all can't live in the Greenbelt. We need to continue to serve the infrastructure needs of these existing communities. And we shouldn't malign it and call it sprawl. I do not live in sprawl. I live in a very healthy, vibrant, dynamic community that is going to need the city's support going forward. This is planned growth and home to thousands of people who help us build a great city. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, again, for your support. J'ai toujours soutenu ma communauté avec vie.
I've always supported my community with vigor. We can't all live within the Green Belt. We have to continue to meet the needs of this growing community. We should not see it as urban sprawl, but planned growth.
The next City Council, all the best with their work. I've spoken to a large number of communities on your behalf. And I often tell tourists when they come to the city that we're working on two big projects. One is an LRT project that will transform our city, and the second big project is a Stanley Cup for the Ottawa Senators. So I'm very hopeful that will be delivered as well. Pour terminer, je souhaite...
In closing, I wish you every success in the great projects of the city.
Here, I believe that great neighbors make great neighborhoods. And as JFK reminds us, of those who much is given, much is required, and our family is going to continue to help this city thrive. And I want to thank again the community for electing me, and it has been an honor and a privilege to serve the residents of this city. Here's the twins here coming up to steal the show. Okay. There, that is a skill. You want to say? Oh. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you very much, Councillor DeRoche. Once again, I sincerely thank each of our 8 outgoing councillors for their exceptional service to their wards and to our community. I extend to each of you our best wishes for the future, et j'adresse à chacune et chacun mes meilleurs.
And I extend to each of you my best wishes for the future.
Sincere thank you to the family members and staff and colleagues and neighbors of our 8 outgoing councillors for being with us today. I know they very much appreciate you being here, as do all members of council. Merci beaucoup. Thank you. Roll call, please, Madam Deputy Clerk.
Conseiller Manette.
Présent.
Councillor Blois.
Présent.
Councillor Harder. Here. Councillor Wilkinson. Present. Councillor Alshantiri.
Present.
Councillor Caudry.
Present.
Councillor Taylor.
Here.
Councillor Shirelli. Councillor Egli.
Here.
Councillor Deans. Here. Councillor Tierney.
Présent.
Conseiller Fleury.
Ici.
Councillor Clark.
Encore.
Councillor Holmes. Here. Councillor Hobbs. Here. Councillor McRae. Here. Councillor Chernyshenko.
What? He's somewhere.
He's here.
Councillor Hume.
For now.
Conseiller Blais.
Présent.
Councillor Thompson.
Présent.
Councillor
Howard
Moffat.
Flowers, Leslie.
Here.
Conseiller DeRoche.
Here.
Councillor Hubley.
Here.
Mayor Watson.
Here.
Le quorum est 10, Monsieur le Maire.
Merci. Adoption de procès verbal, confirmation of minutes from the meeting of the 8th of October 2014. Carried. Declarations of interest, including those originally rising from prior meetings. Déclaration de conflit d'intérêt. See none. Communications as listed. Regrets, no regrets filed to date. Motion to introduce reports. Motion portant présentation de rapport. Councillors Fleury and DeRoche, please.
That
Pursuant to Section 33.5 of the Procedure Bylaw 26462, Council receive and consider the zoning bylaw items contained in Planning Committee Report 79, items 6 to 11 of the agenda, and that the rules of procedure be suspended to receive and table the report for the City Councillor and Solicitor entitled 2014-2018 Council Governance Review, subsection 29.3, as this report will be considered by the new Council at a special meeting to be held on December 3rd, 2014, and that que les règlements de la procédure soient suspendus afin de prendre connaissance et d'examiner le
That the rules of procedure be suspended to receive and consider the remainder of the items in Planning Committee Report 79, paragraph 29.3, because of the urgency of the items contained in the report.
Carried. Carried. Report, City Manager, Directeur Municipal, 2014-2018 Council Governance Review, examen de la structure de gestion publique du Conseil municipal pour 2014 à 2018. Received and tabled. Received. Committee reports. Planning Committee Report number 79, report numéro 79 du Comité de l'Urbanisme. Item number 2, designation of 66 and 78 Lisgar Street under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act, designation des 66 et 78 rue Lisgar au terme de la partie 4 de la loi sur le patrimoine de l'Ontario. Committee recommendation is presented. Carried. Application for new construction on Littleton Gardens, a property designated under Part 5 of the Ontario Heritage Act and located in the Rockcliffe Park Heritage Conservation District. Demande de nouvelle construction sur Littleton Gardens. Committee recommendation is presented. Carried. Application to alter 241 Park Road, a property designated under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act and located in the Rockcliffe Park Heritage Conservation District. Demande de modification de 241 Chemin Park, une propriété de modification une propriété désignée en vertu de la partie 5 de la loi sur le patrimoine. Committee recommendations as presented. Carried. Designation of the Harton Hotel, 1993 Robertson Road under Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. Désignation de l'Hôtel Harton au 1993 Chemin Robertson en vertu de la partie 4 de la loi sur le patrimoine de l'Ontario. Carried. A big win for Bell's Corners. Zoning bylaw amendment, 1590 Belcourt Boulevard, modification au règlement du zonage 1590 Boulevard Belcourt. Committee recommendation is presented. Carried. Zoning bylaw amendment, 2570 Old Second Line Road, modification de règlement de zonage 2570 Chemin Old Second Line. Carried. Zoning bylaw amendment, 3581 John Shaw Road, modification de règlement de zonage 3581 Chemin John Shaw. Carried. Zoning bylaw amendment, 1872 Maryville Road and 530 and 540 West Hunt Club Road, modification au règlement de zonage 1872 Chemin Maryville et 530 et 540 Chemin West Hunt Club. Carried. Zoning bylaw amendment, 4660 Farmers Way, modification au règlement de zonage 4660 Voie Farmers. Carried. Item number 11, zoning bylaw amendment 5832 Bank Street, modification au règlement de zonage 5832 Rue Bank. Carried. Motion to adopt reports. Motion portant adoption de rapport. Conseiller Fleury et Derache, s'il vous plaît.
That Planning Committee Report 79 be received and adopted as amended.
Carried.
Carried.
Motion requiring suspension of the rules of procedure. Councillor Clark has a motion dealing with lanes, and we need to suspend the rules. I'm actually not going to support suspending the rules because this item was directed to staff, in fact by Councillor Clark, to come back in the first quarter of 2015. So I will not support suspending the rules, because it would basically jump the queue, and we do have a council resolution approved, I believe, unanimously back on January 22nd, moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Holmes, on the issue of urban lanes. So we'll, on suspension of the rules, yeas and nays, please.
Councillor Blois?
Yes.
Councillor Moffat?
Yes.
Conseiller Blais?
No.
Councillor Hobbs?
No.
Councillor Shirelli?
No.
Councillor Chernyshenko?
No.
Conseiller Manette?
Oui.
Councillor Harder? Councillor Thompson?
No.
Conseiller DeRoche?
No.
Councillor Hubley?
No.
Councillor Holmes?
Yes.
Councillor Eglai?
No.
Conseiller Fleury?
No.
Councillor Wilkinson?
No.
Councillor Taylor?
No.
Councillor Hume?
Vote for Peter, yes.
Councillor Caudry?
No.
Councillor El-Shantiri?
No.
Councillor McCrae?
No.
Councillor Tierney?
No.
Councillor Deans?
No.
Councillor Clark? Mayor Watson?
No.
6 yeas, 18 nays.
Okay. Notices of motion for consideration at subsequent meeting. Councillor Caudry, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. And this is a notice of motion to change a name in my community of a street in Fernbank Lands. But this would therefore be resolved for this motion is that Council directs staff to take the steps necessary to review a proposed street name change from Avenue Founder to Avenue Robert Grant and report back to Planning Committee and Council by the end of January 2015. So that's a motion recommendation.
Okay, thank you. We'll deal with that at the next meeting. Thank you, Councillor Caudry. The next notice of motion is Councillor El-Shantiri, please. Deputy Mayor Shantiri.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is a notice of motion. Basically, therefore, be it resolved that Council appoint Derek Moody as a City Risk Management Official and Risk Management Inspector for the period from January 1st, 2015 until June 1st, 2015 to provide an opportunity for this position to be staffed on a permanent basis. And I think the rest of it is listed, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councillor El-Shantiri, and we'll deal with that at the next meeting of Council. The next notice of motion is moved by myself, seconded by Councillor El-Shantiri with respect to the City Manager employment contract. This is required to be dealt with by the end of December, and we'll deal with this item at that time at the next Council meeting. Are there any other notices of motion? No? Okay.
Motions to introduce bylaws, moved by Councillor Fleury.
That the bylaws listed on the agenda under motion to introduce bylaws, 3 readings, be read and passed.
Confirmation bylaw, moved by Councillor Fleury, seconded by myself.
That the following bylaw be read and passed to confirm the proceedings of the Council meeting of November 26, 2014.
Carried. Carried. Inquiries. Demande des renseignements. Councillor Eglai? No? Any inquiries? No inquiries. Move for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Fleury, seconded by myself.
I'd like a recorded vote.
Yeas and nays have been called.
No.
Councillor Blois?
No, we don't want to stand.
Councillor Moffat?
Yes.
Conseiller Blais?
Oui.
Councillor Hobbs?
Yes.
Councillor Shirelli?
No.
Councillor Chernyshenko?
Yes.
Councillor Manette?
Oui.
Councillor Harder? Yes. Councillor Thompson?
Yes.
Conseiller DeRoche? Councillor Hughley?
Yes.
Councillor Holmes?
Yes.
Councillor Eglai?
Yes.
Conseiller Fleury?
Yes, sir.
Councillor Wilkinson?
Yes.
Councillor Taylor?
Yes.
Councillor Hume? Yes. Councillor Caudry?
Yes.
Councillor Elshantiri?
Yes.
Councillor McCrae?
Yes.
Councillor Tierney?
Yes.
Councillor Deans?
Yes.
Councillor Clark?
Oui.
Mayor Watson?
Yes.
24 yeas.